Hi and welcome to another video in which I'm going to be sharing with you the Bix Tarot. This is a deck that I have just got from Amazon. It cost me about £21. It does say it's $26. This is made by Pierluigi Balducci. I think I've said that right. It comes in a lovely cardboard box and it's just a really nice kind of size. So we'll take a look through what's inside. Inside you have a guidebook and then the cards. So we'll have a look at the guidebook first. So the guidebook, it says follow the white rabbit, not just any rabbit, not a real rabbit. Follow a rabbit-shaped idea, a character born out of the sea and imagination, whose guidance can be lightly thread across the boundary between the material and the spiritual. It tells you about the major arcana and it gives you a paragraph for each major arcana card and then a paragraph for each of the minor arcana. Now, this guidebook is actually multilingual, so the rest of this is in different languages. So it's just this little section you get that's in English. So that's the guidebook. And here are the cards. So, as you can see, the backs aren't reversible. They just say Bix, and they've got the same pattern as that box, which, if you look, are all rabbits. They look like rabbits in the sand. You get, with this deck, an art card that is reversible, as you can see. I think that's rather beautiful. It's going to go on my wall. I just don't know which side I'm going to have facing. I might change it round. And then you get a play on Spotify Bix Tarot playlist code. So they can go to one side. And then we have the actual deck. So we will start with the Fool. As you can see, it's bright orange. We have the rabbit here with flowers in his satchel and he's jumping, leaping over these cogs. And then we have the magician, literally a rabbit coming out of a hat. And then we have the high priestess. This is so pretty. And we've got like this manual, this like maybe like a Bible or some sort of traditional kind of scripture there. And they look almost like they're sat within some sort of fruit. It just looks so lovely. And then the Empress, all in gold, with what looks like peacock feathers coming out from behind, or perhaps corn, sat on a chair. And we have corn growing underneath them for that fertility sign. Then we have the Emperor with the flames and the key and the cloak and the crown, all in red, very bright and bold. And the Hierophant, who's got the traditional cross around the neck, and they've got lots of symbolism to do with tradition in the background there. And then we have the Lovers. I adore this card, especially with the wings. It's so cute. And then the Chariot, the rabbit with a scarf flying behind them. It looks like they're riding away from a castle here, and they're pointing forwards and they're moving. Then we have Strength, and this here, it's a lion that the rabbit's kind of maybe running from or running towards, depending on your viewpoint. And then we have the Hermit with the traditional lantern, and he looks like he's stood on some crystals there. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is very yin-yang-y, and it looks like the rabbits are coming out of each side of this yin-yang. And then we have Justice, and they're riding a unicycle whilst holding scales. That's difficult, isn't it? Trying to keep that balance. And then we have the Hanged Man. I always turn this card the other way up so you can see he's quite happy, just suspended by one foot there. Should I say paw? And then we have Death. It's a bit Donnie Darko, but still. And then we have Temperance with that liquid balance between those two glasses there. And he's stood in the water and he's got the beautiful sunset behind him. Then we have the Devil, and the rabbit's looking into the mirror to see the devil. It's like looking reflections of itself and seeing that other side. Then the Tower. Well, this is interesting. It's like the rabbit's been chopped up, really, like a paper copy of the rabbit. And we've got this thunderbolt there. This is just so delightful. I love this. I wish I could have this made into a bigger picture. It's just so beautiful, the star, the rabbit sat on the star. And the same with the moon. And this just reminds me of a ski resort with the pine trees. And then we have the shady rabbit, the cool dude rabbit in the sunshine with his shades on. And then Judgment. And you can see these shadows in the background. It looks like he's running from it, but running across the water, literally walking on water. And the World. And the rabbit popping out of a seashell. But isn't that such a lovely idea? This kind of having it all, completion and this natural aspect to it. Then we move on to the minor arcana, and having had a little look through these cards earlier on, I can tell you this deck becomes kind of pippish in a way through the minor arcana. So we've got the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups. Isn't that so cute? But you've got the Lion there, that's strength. And Three of Cups and the Four of Cups. When I say pippish, what I mean is the characters are there, but they're all the same colour in each suit, and they all look very, very similar. So we've still got the Four of Cups here, with the rabbit sat by the tree with a cup being offered, but they're obviously dissatisfied. And the Five of Cups, which is just beautiful. And the Six. How gorgeous is that? Oh, the flowers. And that nostalgia. Then we've got the Seven, all them decisions, all them cups to choose from. And the Eight. Walking away. And the 9, doesn't he look like he's so relaxed? It looks like a Friday night kind of rabbit. Yeah. And the 10, this is such a glorious 10 of Cups, the happiness card, if you will. Then we've got the Page with feathers in his hair and a fish jumping out of his cup, and the Knight riding a horse, and the Queen, who just looks serene in a bubble bath in a cup. I mean, it's like a hot tub in a cup. I love it. And then the King of Cups. And moving on to Pentacles. So obviously now it's all green. This is what, when I said pippish, I didn't really mean pip. What I meant was they're all colour-coded and they're all very similar in each suit. So yeah, the Ace of Pentacles with rabbit riding that large coin, and the 2 with the juggling the coins. And the 3 climbing the ladder, up the window, that teamwork. And the 4 holding on to everything he has, literally putting his feet over the coins. And the 5 that sat outside feeling lonely in the snow, but there are lights on, you know. And then we've got the 6 with these rabbit holes, like people popping up and popping down, and the balance there and the sharing. And the 7 with that kind of picking the coins from the tree, if you will. And the 8, that crafting, that hard work. And the 9 and the 10. How glorious is that? Coins suspended. Excuse the noise in the background. My daughter's just got into singing and she loves it. Then we have the Page of Pentacles, and we have the Knight riding his horse, and the Queen of Pentacles, and the King. And he's sat in his treasure trove. I love how he's just sat there with his crown on, quite content in his coins. And then we have the Ace of Wands and the 2 of Wands holding that globe, making plans. And you can see the maps in the background there. And the 3, he's turned away, he's waiting by the water. And the 4 of Staves, or Wands, sorry. That celebration card. I love this. All the flowers. And the 5, well, the battle card, if you will, that awkward. I don't like the 5 of Wands. I don't like getting the card. It just makes me think, oh no. But yeah, it's that kind of pointless battles. And then we've got the 6, riding a horse, waving to the audience. And the 7, that taking one wand at a time. And the 8, which usually the 8 of Wands is a card of speed, and I don't feel that in this card as much. I just feel the wands kind of coming towards you. And then we've got the 9, that perseverance and ongoing trudging. And the 10, the overwhelmment, which is definitely construed really well in this image by him carrying those wands on his shoulder. And then we have the cutest little Page of Wands. And the Knight. And the Queen. I love her hair. And the King, who at first I looked at and thought, oh, he's playing a guitar, but it's not, it's the wand. that he's holding with the crown on it, but the crown is on the wand rather than on his head. He's being quite creative there, which is very much true of the wands. And then we move on to the swords, which are all blue, holding that Ace of Swords, and the Two of Swords with the blindfold, and the Three of Swords, which obviously we have this traditional heart with the swords going through it and the rabbit looking quite shocked. And then we have the Four of Swords, and I love this idea of, because Four of Swords I associate with like rest and needing to take time, and he's having a bath, but even the swords are going into the bath, like, you know, he's trying to take his time, he's trying to rest, but he's still being attacked by these swords. And then we have the Five of Swords, which is interesting because it's usually about arguments and it's usually about quarrels, but he's the only rabbit here and he's placing the sword down. But he's got two swords in his hand. It's an interesting card. Then we've got the Six of Swords, this travelling away from upset, if you will, and he's got his two little rabbits here and he's rowing that boat away. And then we've got the Seven of Swords with a card of deception and robbery, and you can certainly feel he's running away from something. He's running away from something perhaps he shouldn't have done, and maybe he's taken these swords. It's a very interesting card. Then we've got the Eight, again with a blindfold, surrounded by swords, this idea of you've trapped yourself, and you can see he's bound there as well. And then we've got the Nine, which is an interesting Nine of Swords. It's different to how I would usually visualise. The Nine of Swords to me is like the card of worry and nightmares and anxiety. Whereas, yes, he looks worried, he's got his hand over his mouth, but I don't usually, you see like a dream above, or you see some sort of anxiety kind of wavering, but I just see the swords obviously coming towards him. And then we've got the Ten of Swords, which is definitely a good depiction of this card. It can't really get any worse, but there's only forward you can go. And then we've got the Page of Swords, brandishing the sword, the brave page, and the Knight of Swords running forward on a golden horse. And the Queen, doesn't she look quite serene? And then we've got the King of Swords. He's got his crown on, he's got his sword in his hand, he means business. And he's under this arch here. So that is the Bix Tarot. I will probably be photographing these cards over the next week or so, once I've had time to shuffle them up and start using them for readings, and I will no doubt be featuring them on my brand new Instagram page, The Queen of Kooky. If you'd like to follow, please do. This is a deck I've wanted for a little while, so it's probably going to get quite snap happy. So yeah, it's definitely not too expensive, and it feels quality wise like, you know, average quality. It is quite glossy, but the size of the cards, if we were to look at a normal tarot card, if I just hold one against here, you can see they are a little bit smaller. So it's certainly a good deck for people with smaller hands like myself. And it seems to shuffle really nicely. It's a great addition to my collection, and I'm really looking forward to using it. If you've got the Bix Tarot and you've got any comments, please drop your comments below. Or if you've not got this but you'd like to share your ideas about the deck, again, drop a comment below. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts upon this. Thanks for watching. Take care, stay safe.